What's up, guys? Here with this week's Q&A, so let's get right into it. I wanted to answer this one first. Can I cut from 203 to 181 in 7 months and add 60 pounds to my deadlift? Now, I asked for some extra context. Um, he said he'll be 26 in January. He started deadlifting in high school. Been training seriously for almost 4 years. Hit 480 2 weeks before strongman comp, then 540 frame in comp, and he qualified for nationals, and the deadlift there is 545 for reps. So, given that, I understand your goal in wanting to do this. I'm glad it's not just I'm trying to cut for the sake of cutting and also add weight, especially at 203 pounds. But you're going for a weight class, so I get it. Is it possible? It is certainly possible. It's definitely not outside the realm of what can be done. That said, it's a tall task. All right. So you've already got some good experience. You're beyond beginner gains, so that's not going to be there. And you're trying to cut some weight. So you are going to have to be extremely dialed in. Typically I would say, that don't let perfection be the enemy of very good. That said, you're going to have to be damn near perfect for the next 7 months if you want to make this happen. I would also look into water cutting. I don't think in this case I would be trying to cut my actual body weight down to 181. I would probably try to get closer, to within 10 pounds or so of that. So around, 190 or so, and set yourself up to be able to do a water cut and get rid of those last few pounds just on a temporary basis for weigh-ins. I don't know what your other events are at nationals, so you need to take into account like what the weight cut is going to do to those events as well. Is it worth the sacrifice to go all out for this deadlift and possibly zeroing multiple other events to get a deadlift in? Or would you be better suited while still pursuing this deadlift goal, not completely getting the idea of these other events out of mind, and it's something where you would score more points, perhaps zeroing the deadlift, but performing better in a spread across a few other events. So that's something to keep in mind as well. That said, if you're hell-bent on the deadlift, it's going to have to take priority. And your recovery and nutrition is going to have to be damn near perfect. Your sleep is going to have to be damn near perfect. And you're going to have to prioritize it, like I said, and perhaps at the detriment of other lifts or other events. So definitely it's possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's not going to be easy. More than likely, you're going to have to make sacrifices elsewhere to make it happen. So that's to make it a possibility. That's you're going to have to do that. But I would ask you to ask yourself, is all of that going to be worth it for the deadlift? So I hope that helps some. Let's get to the other questions here. Thank you for asking the questions. I appreciate that. I can't pronounce, but just wanted to thank me for answering all the questions. I get emotional highs after working out, not being a slob in my room and being with my girl. Deep emotional lows when I fail at a task. Skip training or confront personal problems. Again, you can train yourself to get better. I'm certainly not a psychologist and I'm not an expert in the field. However, through life experience, I used to very much be emotionally immature, and I still am sometimes. It's forever a work in progress. But you have to learn how to deal with your emotions and not let them control you, and not overreact to them. You can acknowledge the fact that, hey, I fell at something, it sucks, I feel bad, and temporarily reflect on it and let it be a thing, and don't completely ignore it. But you got to get it out of your system, acknowledge it, acknowledge the feels that you felt, but then it's time to, move on and, you know, maybe use that as motivation. Like, damn, I felt like shit. I felt down. I don't want to feel that anymore. So let me practice and be better, and do better the next time. And you know, you'll rack up more wins that way, and you'll know the feeling. You'll know that there is going to be times where you're going to quote unquote fail. But having dealt with that, having acknowledged what it makes you feel, and then knowing that you can move on and rebound and do better, will certainly, you know, help deal with those feelings over time of those emotional lows, and they won't be as low, and they won't last as long. Had a broken ankle but plan to returning to squat. What's a healed? How do I approach training? Any special tips? Because I'm tending to max out the first day and take it easy and ramp up. I don't mind maxing out on the first day, like you said, not in a moronic ego lifting way, but just to see where I'm at, bro. I am okay with that. You just have to be very honest with yourself, and definitely don't push in a way that's going to set yourself up for injury. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. You should speak to your doctor. I would assume they'll clear you at some point to get back to activities, and, you know, listen to what they say first and foremost. But yeah, I'm okay with, and it's one of those things. I would stop well short of true max, whatever it may be at the moment. So, you know, if you hit, say, a 300-pound squat and it's a relatively smooth single that you think you could have tripled, I would probably just stop there. You can use a rep calculator and say, hey, you know, maybe my max is between 315 and 330 right now, or something like that. And then base your future programming off that. You don't need to go absolutely balls to the wall with it. Are you a GangStarr fan at all? I see you have good music taste. Love the videos. Well, I hate to disappoint, but I really never got into GangStarr. Just within my circle of friends, it never really got put in rotation or anything. And, you know, back then, like, internet access to music was very limited. You know, there was like Kazaa and Napster and stuff, but, you know, you had to risk your family's computer. My family didn't have one, but your friends had to risk their family computer to download shit and burn CDs. So, no, I never really got into GangStarr. Is there a rep range that you stop holding your breath throughout the rep on squats? And do you hold your breath on pause squats? Da 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 da. I sure it takes about 3 seconds. Bring my cardio up. Any suggestions? So yes, like if I'm doing a set of 5 or less on squats, I generally will view them as like 5 singles within the same set. I obviously don't re-rack the bar or anything, but I hold my breath for each rep. Top, brace, down, up, breathe out, take another breath, brace, everything. And then, like I said, treat them all like individual singles. I don't know, like even some higher than 5 sets, I still do that. If I'm maybe like 50% or less, or under 60%, give or take, maybe I'll, you know, piston style some reps out and breathe like as I'm coming out of the hole. But usually anything like 60% or more, for sure, I will treat them as individual reps, because I want my motor patterns to be as efficient as possible and practice as such. With pause squats, I do pause, or I do hold my breath through the whole thing. If it's 3 count pause, 5 count pause, you'll build lung capacity over time. You can build that just like your muscles. Let's say practice, man. Like, just practice. It takes practice. That's the best thing I can tell you. Just practice doing it. I don't think it's so much a cardio issue. I really don't. After a year of lifting, my SBD is 100 for 760. I was always overweight. I cut down from 95 to 80. Started looking clothes, but felt skinny fat. Now after a year of that, it's a mass. Primarily focused on hypertrophy training. What would be the ideal way to simultaneously put mass and increase my strength on these lifts? Power, where I just treat isolation. So I know I booted a lot of that. Bald Omni Man just put out a video on like how he defines power building and what he does and his approach for that. I would suggest watching that video. Steve Shaw has a very similar approach. For what you're looking for, I would kind of take their philosophies and run with it. And if you're worried about SPD, you know, obviously prioritize those. But you can also pick an isolation or a secondary movement and get really strong and build a lot of muscle with that too. It's not like you have to disregard everything else because you are prioritizing your squat, bench, and deadlift. But I would watch, you know, either one of their videos, especially the one Bald Omni Man put out recently, about how they go about their quote unquote power building, how they define it, and how they train for it. And I think that will point you in the right direction. Can you explain your CrossFit methodology? I think I answered you in the comment section, but that is going to be its own video. And hint, hint, wink, wink, I just did a collaboration video, kind of a podcast style interview with a bigger YouTuber. And we talked about CrossFit a little bit within that. So be on the lookout for that. I'll let you guys know when it drops. That's it. Thank you guys for all the questions. Peace!